Hello, friends. Tonight we return to that quiet summer of 1988, the cartridge still warm in the console, and the map, still mostly unknown. They've already started exploring, but something isn't right. No matter where they go, they seem to end up in the same place. They keep moving, screen by screen, slowly mapping the world in their heads. Not with paper, not with guides, just memory. This screen had water. That one had 2 octoroks. Go left here, not right. The map doesn't exist yet, so they build one themselves, piece by piece. Then Danny says quietly, "Try bombing that wall." Tommy stops, looks at the screen. A flat stretch of rock. No cracks. No markings. Nothing that suggests it would break. "We don't have bombs," Tommy says. Max leans forward. "Then we need to get some." That becomes the next objective. Not because the game told them, but because they decided it mattered. They begin defeating enemies more carefully now, watching for drops. Sometimes a rupee appears, sometimes a heart, and sometimes nothing at all. Danny notices first. It's not every enemy. Max nods. Yeah, feels random, but it's not completely random. Even if they don't know it yet, some enemies have a higher chance to drop items. Some almost never do. And occasionally, after clearing multiple enemies in a row, a bomb appears. Tommy picks one up. The small icon flashes briefly. A quiet confirmation. Danny leans closer. "Okay, now try the wall." They walk back. The same screen. The same blank wall. Tommy places a bomb. Right in the center. They step back. Wait! The explosion happens. A soft sound. A flash. And then, nothing. The wall remains unchanged. Max doesn't react immediately. Just watches. Try another spot. Tommy places another bomb, slightly to the left this time. Again, they wait. Explosion. Nothing. Danny frowns slightly. "I heard some walls break." Tommy nods. "Yeah, but how do you know which ones?" That's the question. Because unlike later games, there are no visual hints, no cracks, no discoloration, nothing obvious. The only clue is memory, or rumor, or pure guesswork. They try again, this time closer to the edge. Bomb placed. Step back. Wait. Explosion. And suddenly, the wall changes. A small opening appears. A doorway. Hidden until that exact moment. Danny leans forward immediately. There. Max nods slowly. "Okay, so it's not random." And he's right. Even if they can't fully explain it yet. Bombable walls follow rules. Always placed on specific tiles. Always aligned to a grid they can't see, but can feel. Over time, Tommy moves closer, examining the doorway. There's no sound cue before the bomb. No feedback when you're close. Only success or failure. And that's what makes it different. Every attempt costs something. A bomb, a chance. And most of the time, it gives you nothing back, Danny says quietly. So you just have to remember where it worked. Max adds, and where it didn't. That becomes the real system, not the game's system, But theirs. Memory, trial, discussion, sometimes disagreement. Tommy steps inside the hidden doorway. A small room. A merchant appears, selling bombs for rupees. Danny smiles. Oh, so that's how you get more. Max nods. Yeah, you don't just wait for drops. Another layer revealed. Bombs aren't just random rewards. They're resources. Something you manage. Something you spend carefully. Because now they understand. Every bomb matters. Every wall might hide something. And there's no way to check without trying. Back outside. The world feels different again. Not bigger, but deeper. Because now, every blank wall might not be blank at all. And that changes how they see everything. Tommy looks at another rock surface, pauses, then keeps walking. Not because it isn't important, but because they don't have enough bombs. And that is another lesson entirely. Eventually, without planning to, they find it. A strange structure, hidden in plain sight. A tree with a dark opening. Tommy stops moving. Was that always there? Danny leans forward. I think we just walked past it before. Max nods slowly. Yeah, this game doesn't show you things twice. There's no marker, no sign, no message saying dungeon here. Just an entrance, waiting. Tommy presses up. Link steps inside, and immediately, everything changes. The music shifts, lower, more contained. The open world disappears, replaced by something structured. Rooms, each one locked to the screen. No scrolling now, no continuous movement, just boundaries, defined spaces. Danny notices first. Okay, this is different. Max looks around. Yeah, this feels like a maze. And it is. Even if they don't know how much yet. Each room, connected in a hidden grid, not random, carefully arranged, but without a map. It feels confusing. Tommy steps forward. The doors close behind him. A sharp sound. Danny reacts instantly. Wait, we're locked in. Enemies appear. Stalfos. Skeletons. Moving slowly. Not aggressive, but deliberate. Tommy moves forward. Swings. Misses. The spacing feels different here. More controlled. Less room to move. Max watches closely. They move in straight lines. Danny adds, yeah, not like outside. That's the difference. Overworld enemies drift. Dungeon enemies follow patterns. Simpler, but more precise. Tommy adjusts, steps closer, attacks again. Hit. The Stalfos disappears. Another moves forward. Same pattern, same speed. Tommy times it better now. Wait, step, attack. Clean, controlled. Then suddenly, a keys appears. A bat, moving unpredictably. Sharp angles. No pattern. Danny leans forward. That one's different. Tommy swings, misses completely. The keys changes direction instantly. Erratic, unstable. Max says quietly, don't chase it, wait for it. That becomes clear quickly. Some enemies reward pattern recognition, others punish it. Tommy waits. The keys moves again. Closer this time. Attack. Hit. Gone. The room goes quiet. And then, a small click. The doors open. Danny exhales softly. So we have to clear the room. Max nods. Yeah, doors don't open until everything's gone. Another rule learned, not explained, but understood. Tommy moves into the next room. Another layout, different enemies, but the same logic applies. Clear the room. Unlock the path. They continue, room by room, slowly building understanding. Then they find something new, a key, lying alone. Tommy picks it up. Danny immediately asks, "Do we use that now?" Max hesitates, or save it. That question matters, because keys are limited. At least, they feel limited. There's no counter telling them how many they'll find. No guarantee of more, just a small number, and locked doors ahead. Tommy reaches one, stops. The door is closed, different from the others. Not sealed by enemies, but locked. Danny says quietly, "Try it." Tommy pauses, then presses forward. The key is used. The door opens. Gone. Consumed. Max leans back slightly. Okay, so it's one-time use. That changes everything. Now every key is a decision, not just progression, but risk. Because what if they chose the wrong door? What if there was a better path? They don't know. And there's no way to know. So they move forward anyway, carefully, not rushing, not guessing blindly, but thinking, trying to remember which rooms felt important, which paths seemed right. And slowly, without realizing it, they stop playing like beginners and start playing like explorers. They move deeper, room by room. The dungeon begins to feel familiar, not because they understand it, but because they've started recognizing patterns, enemies, doors, layout. Still confusing, but no longer completely unknown. Then they reach another door, different again, locked. Tommy stops. He doesn't press forward this time. Danny notices immediately. "What? You're not using it." Tommy shakes his head slightly. "Not yet." Max leans forward. "Yeah, we should think first." That's new. Earlier, they would have just opened it. No hesitation. But now, they've learned something important. Keys don't come back. Once used, they're gone. And the dungeon doesn't tell you if that was the right choice. Tommy steps away from the door. They look around the room again. Another exit to the left. Unlocked. Danny points. "Try that one first." Tommy nods. Moves left. The next room opens. Enemies appear again. But this time, something feels slightly off. They defeat everything. Wait. The doors don't open. Danny frowns. Did we miss something? Tommy walks around, checks the walls. Nothing. Max says quietly, "Maybe not all rooms are the same." That's another hidden rule. Some rooms require more than just defeating enemies. Some have triggers, hidden conditions. But right now, they don't know what those are. So they leave, backtracking, returning to the locked door. Tommy stands still again. This time, he uses the key. The door opens. And for a moment, there's a small sense of relief. Like maybe this was the right choice. Inside, the room feels different. More enemies, slightly harder patterns. Danny says softly, "Yeah, this feels important." They clear it carefully, not rushing, not wasting movement, because mistakes now cost more, less health, fewer chances. Then, an item appears. The map. Tommy picks it up. Danny leans forward. Finally, for the first time, they can see something. A layout. A rough shape of the dungeon. Rooms connected. Spaces filled in. But even then, it doesn't solve everything. Max studies it. Okay, but it doesn't show where we are. And he's right. The map shows structure, but not position, not direction, not what's inside each room, just possibility. Tommy opens it again, trying to match memory to shape. This room should be here, I think. Danny nods. Yeah, maybe. But they're guessing. Still guessing. The map helps, but it doesn't guide. And that's the difference. They move forward again. More rooms, more enemies, more decisions. Then another item appears, the compass. Tommy picks it up. Max watches closely. What does that do? Danny shrugs. No idea. They check. A small blinking point appears on the map. Max leans in. That must be something important. And it is. But they don't fully understand it yet. Not boss. Not goal. Just something worth finding. And that uncertainty stays. Because even with tools, even with progress, nothing is fully explained. Tommy pauses again, looking at the map, then at the doors around them. Each one still a choice. Each one still unknown. Danny says quietly, "We might be going the wrong way." Max replies, "Or the long way." Tommy smiles slightly, then moves forward. Because in this game, there isn't always a right path. Only the path you choose, and whether you can survive it. They move forward, slower now, more careful with every step, because something feels different. The rooms have changed, wider, more open, less clutter. Danny notices it first. This feels like something's coming. Max nods quietly. Yeah, too empty. Tommy walks to the next door, pauses, then steps through. The screen locks. The music shifts, lower, heavier. And there, at the top of the room, it appears Aqua Mentis, a dragon, still, watching, not moving toward them, just waiting. Danny whispers, "Don't rush it." Tommy doesn't move immediately. That instinct, to wait, is something they've learned, not from the game, but from everything leading up to this moment. Aqua Mentis opens its mouth, and suddenly, 3 fireballs spread outward, not straight, not random, a pattern. 1 forward, 2 angled, covering space. Tommy steps back. The fire passes in front of him, barely missing. Max leans in. It spreads. You can't just stand in front. Danny adds, "Stay to the side." That becomes clear quickly. Standing directly in front is dangerous. Too much coverage. Too little time to react. Tommy shifts position, moves slightly to the left. Waits again. Another attack. 3 fireballs. This time, he sees it earlier. Steps just enough. Avoids all 3. Cleaner. More controlled. Then he notices something else. Aquamentus doesn't chase, doesn't move forward. It holds position. That matters. Because now, this isn't about survival. It's about positioning. Tommy steps forward carefully, close enough to strike, swings, hit, then immediately steps back. Danny says softly, "Don't stay there." Because the boss doesn't stop attacking. There's no long pause, no safe window that lasts, only brief openings. Tommy watches again. Wait. Attack pattern. Step in. Strike. Step out. Repeat. Then something unexpected happens. As Tommy keeps his distance, Link fires a beam from the sword, a straight line of light, hitting the dragon from afar. Danny reacts instantly. Wait, you can shoot. Max leans forward. Only when you're full health. They realize it together. Because the moment Link takes damage, the beam disappears. Gone. No explanation. Just another rule. Hidden. Tommy adjusts again. Now more careful than ever. Because full health means range, and range means safety. He keeps his distance, fires the beam, waits, dodges, fires again, slower. More patient. Danny nods quietly. That's way safer. Max adds, but harder to keep. Because one mistake, one missed dodge, and that advantage disappears. Tommy stays focused, watching the rhythm, not reacting late, not rushing early, just staying in control. The dragon opens its mouth again. Fire spreads. Tommy moves. Barely. Enough. Then steps forward. Strike. Again. And then the dragon disappears. No explosion. No dramatic ending. Just gone. Silence fills the room. For a brief moment, no one speaks. Then, a heart container appears, floating quietly. Danny exhales. There it is. Tommy picks it up. The health increases. Permanent. Max leans back slowly. Okay, that's real progress. Not just surviving. Not just exploring. But understanding. Because this fight wasn't about speed or reflex. It was about learning patterns, managing distance, choosing when to act, and knowing when not to. Tommy stands still for a moment, looking at the empty room, then turns toward the exit, because now the world outside is going to feel different again.